Good morning everybody, welcome back to a Chart Nerd Technical Analysis video. Today we will be discussing VRA against USDT on the weekly time frame. So we've got this current low that we put in January of 23 that we're looking to hold right now. This is our key support zone, okay, because you can see from this high we're sort of working our way back down to this low. Now how did we get this low? Well, let me give you a quick breakdown. So from the current all-time high, retracing back to the current all-time low of 2020, what you'll notice is that we had a massive 5-wave correction from the current all-time high. We had this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave correction from the all-time high back down to this low. We had a 5-wave pullback and we found support on the golden ratio. I speak to you guys about this in every video, the golden ratio. Okay, so that's either the 050 or the 0618 on the way up, or you can hit it on the way down. Okay, it all depends on which way you really want to look at it using the fibs, right? But we've had this 5-wave correction, and since we've lowballed out here in January of 23, you can see we started picking up the ship a little bit, but we ran into a key previous level of resistance and have since just been shafted down, right? So what really happened is we started rallying back up to this wave 1 low in this correction. So we had the 5 waves, started picking up ship a little bit, ran into a key level of resistance of this previous wave 1, and have just been shafted back down. It would have been nice to see the 050 on this sort of correction. You can see we hovered around it for a couple of weeks here. It would have been nice to see 0.004 hold, but it didn't, and we've actually lost that 050 and are now running back into it, looking to potentially turn it into resistance. I think what we have in our hands here is a potential final wave back down to this 0618, putting in some sort of double bottom foundation here, where we then start to pick up the ship and try and go again for VRA. So in the near short term, I do think we are trying to potentially come back and put in this double bottom, where we could be in right now some sort of another familiar sort of 5-wave correction back down to this key support line. Right, so for me right now, the most important thing for VRA to do is hold this 0.002 low. That's pretty much all this is right now. Because if we fail to hold this low, there is one slightly bearish thing that I'm looking at here on VRA. So if we get an ascending level of support on here, this was a previous multi-year ascending support line. So let's just clear off this fib. And what you'll see is that from here in 2020, we've had multiple points of contact on this trend line over the last few years. And it wasn't until only recently in April right here where we've lost this multi-year support. Okay, so this isn't really a good sign. We do need to see VRA start getting back above this level at some point down the line. Now, because of this sort of breakdown of this ascending resistance, there are some concerns. So if we're to look for a target back down to the downside right now, let me just adjust my fibs quickly for us. I'm going to get the 1272 and the 1618 on right now. Potentially what we're looking at, if we get, so we've got a fib on from the local high here back down to this low of which we came from on this support. So you can see we hovered on this support, we broke out, and right now we've just come back down, and as I said, we've lost that ascending support. So what I think we're trying to do is potentially run back up into this previous support and meet this as resistance, and then come back for a final wave down to that 0.002 area, which is the 1618 target from this high to this low on the fib and the breakdown. Okay, so when you start losing support, look, we had support here for a few weeks too. Once you start losing that and hitting your head, you are looking for to continue this sort of trend. Okay, the trend is your friend until the end. Now, to invalidate this, all we need to see is VRA come up, put in higher lows here, and start negating this pattern, and from this low build some sort of base and start retracing upwards and flipping this switch. Okay, that's how we negate this pattern. We start closing above 0.004. Okay, we have to start getting back above that, because again, as you can see, this was a previous level of key support for many weeks, and we actually lost it and are now running back into it as potential resistance. Failing to break that resistance, as I said, I do expect a move down to the 1618 at 0.00226, which ties up with this low our current bear market low of where I'm saying, hey, look, we're potentially going to come in for some sort of double bottom here and just continue to build this base. Because really and truly, although we have lost this multi-year horizontal level of support, really and truly, the way that I'm looking at this for VRA is that from this, you can see here, this was previous support in July 2021, and it was our resistance in 23 and all the way throughout 2023. We did break it here in February, which is why a lot of people got excited, okay, because we did break out of this sort of foundational structure. So just again, a quick breakdown. We had this previous support here in this bull run, okay, this was a level of support in 21. We came back down to our target in that 5-wave correction, the 0.618 golden ratio, and from this low in that 5-wave correction, we then rallied back up to this previous level of support and met it as resistance. And this was acting as our resistance throughout 2023 and into 2024. Things looked relatively bullish for VRA from these lows because we also had an ascending level of support right here. So a lot of people are thinking, okay, right now we're sort of coiling up. We've got this higher low foundation. We've tackled out of this previous resistance. So that must mean we're starting to sort of moonshot out of here into space. What we would have liked to see if that was the case was TEL breakout, come back to support here for a couple of weeks. And sorry, not TEL, VRA, forgive me. I done a TEL video yesterday. We would have liked to see VRA hold support on this neckline and then go for the breakout again. But we failed to hold this resistance that we broke out of as support and have since come back into this sort of accumulation range. I would like to say this is an accumulation range right here. Very similar to a previous level accumulation here. Okay, we've just gone through an extended period. So if I drag this over to where we are now, we've just had some sort of extended period base accumulation. So right here back in 2020, you can see we're just caught between a rock and a hard place for quite a while before breaking out. Right now, we're just, same thing. We're just sort of caught between a rock and a hard place, trying to find this foundational structure in order to start breaking out and see momentum to the upside. It's just, where are these lows? So I do keep saying this to you. It would be nice to see a large double bottom where we do come back in a final correction here to 0.0022 and then trying to pick up the base. Okay, then trying to pick up the base. Failing that, if we do come back and lose this low, we can get another fib on and sort of predict where potentially we're coming to. So from this high back down to our bear market low and this support on December, what you'll notice is potentially we could be coming back. This is another potential here. If we sweep this low, if we sweep it and deviate away from it, potentially we could see rejection here and come down to the 1272 at 0.00121. Now, why do I think that is also the case? Bear in mind, to negate that, we just have to put in this double bottom that I'm speaking about. Okay, we just have to put this double bottom in and hold the foundational structure of this low. But if we lose that, we have to look at all possible scenarios. If we lose this low, the 1272 is my next target. Now, why is the 1272 important? Well, if we drag this fib over from this current high, okay, so from this high to this low, the bear market low we're retracing to, if we lose this support level, the 1272 ties up with these previous highs back here in August of 2020. And what's clear to see right now is that these highs haven't been back tested. So since we've broken out of this previous accumulation and had this insane run for VRA, at the moment, it looks like it could be trying to get to touching this base support. Now, as I said again, to validate this, we have to see this low lost. This low has to be lost in order for us to confirm, okay, potentially we're looking to roll over to this level. Now, it's probably not something everyone wants to hear, but right now, as I said, we've lost this multi-year ascending support line. We've equally lost, we've equally lost the support that we was holding for multi-months throughout 2023. And right now we've put in a low lower than this previous low here. And we're currently running into that low as resistance as we speak. Okay, so we need to see VRA really start picking up shit, because this previous support right here is now resistance. This was previous support. We came up, dropped below it, and are now running into resistance. So we need to see VRA start picking up. But in my mind, I genuinely think that this area here would really be healthy for VRA to come back to. And what we could be in is some sort of flat or irregular ABC correction where we come down to this low and then we start really picking up the ship for VRA. Now, again, as I said, to validate that, we have to lose this low. We have to lose this low. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's a potential scenario. Okay? But my most likely outcome is that right now we come back to this level for a double bottom, build up the structure on this foundation once more, and then look for the go again. I think this is the case. So for me, the target right now of where I think VRA is trying to get to is 0.002. And for me, that's what I'm seeing here in these charts. Now, if we get the Gaussian channel on right now, what you'll notice is the last time that we had this breakdown from the lower band of the Gaussian, we had quite a steep correction down. Right now, we've come back and actually lost the Gaussian and are running into it as resistance on that lower band. So this does indicate to me potentially we still are looking to roll over. And this could give the game away where we get that extension drawing away from the Gaussian, just like we did here. Once we lost the lower band of the Gaussian, we drew away. Right now, we've lost the lower band of the Gaussian. If we start to draw away and do lose this low, just look for these highs as support, guys. This would offer optimal opportunity in my eyes. Okay, and what we've had is just, as I mentioned, is a really large sort of A, B, C correction to a key level of previous resistance, meeting it as support before continuation of this trend. And at that point, it would put the fear of God into people. It really would. It really, really would. And I do think, as I've mentioned, I think previously, we've got this wave 1, this wave 2. Right now, we could be in the wave 3, which takes us back to this low for a wave 4, and then that wave 5 back down to this level that I keep talking to you guys about. I think it's a potential. It is a huge potential play here. So we just have to keep our eyes on VRA really and truly. Again, the fact that we have negated away from this lower band of the Gaussian doesn't necessarily mean that the game is over here. If we start from this low, picking up and getting back into this channel and back above previous support that we're now meeting as resistance, then all this could be right now is some sort of deviation. All it could be is some sort of deviation where we've deviated from this previous level of support. We've just had a few weeks out here, retracing back to this low, and we could start breaking back out from here. And what we would have is a low and a higher low with highs and higher highs. So it's still, in theory, could be bullish structure if we pick up from this point right now. Really and truly, we do have resistance levels above. Reversed for me, if this is the low right here and we're trying to retrace back to this high, what you'll notice is the mid band of the Gaussian ties up with the 050 at 0.00644. So if we do see VRA start picking up here and working its way up, these are the golden ratios we need to get back above first before starting to march back on to this high. Now, if we do pick up from here, and these are the lows that have been put in for VRA, and we sort of build up a foundational base and look to go from here, then potentially, once this target is taken out, we'd be looking for 0.024 to 0.04 on the next impulsive move. But that is, albeit considered, this is the low, and we tackle out of this golden ratio and also retrace to this 1 fib. Okay, so there's a lot of work to do if this is the low right now. A lot of work to do. But at the end of the day, you don't want to be buying these tops here and the top peaks of moves. These sort of areas that when you're in the floor offer these golden opportunity entry points. And you could see that anywhere within this sort of range where VRA eventually managed to get back up to would have been fruitful to buy into. So why would you not, again, not financial advice, be getting yourself involved in a situation like this? I mean, to wait for confirmational turnaround, we could wait again for VRA to start getting back above these levels and holding it as support, confirming, hey, look, we're looking to flip the switch here. We've got that low, we've got this high, we've got a higher low, we've got a higher high. Right now, we could have some deviation and then start to come in and put in a higher high again. And right now, everything is still dandy. So that's the bullish scenario for me. If this is the low, we have to get back above this Gaussian channel, back above the 050 and the mid band of the Gaussian, and equally start retracing back to this 1 fib. A lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. But for me, key points to take away, it wouldn't surprise me if we see VRA come back down. Where's the low that I had? It wouldn't be surprising to see VRA come back down to this previous low, to this 1618 right here, where we come back down 0.0022 and look to form some sort of double bottom here, where we could potentially lowball out, and this is where I'm saying start the race again. So do look for this level of support, guys. If it comes, okay, it could offer great entry point because it's a multi-year level of support and our current bear market low. And key points to take away from that, again, if we do lose this low, it's very simple. It's very simple. Just look for this previous level of resistance that hasn't been back tested as support, okay? Because we was coiling up under here, we broke out, and ever since, we haven't come back to this level. So is this where VRA is trying to tell us, hey, look, I'm trying to come back down to this previous level of resistance, meet it as key support, offer the biggest opportunity before a rocket ship into space? I think this is also a potential scenario here. Ignore the time frame because this goes all the way into January of 2025. I think it would probably come a bit sooner than that. As you can see, it does start to move down very impulsively. So if we could come down here by August, September, what a fantastic opportunity to get involved. Not financial advice, and this could be where VRA really does start picking off the ship here. Some targets. Some people want to hear some targets. My bull run targets. Well, albeit considered, if this is the low, okay, if this is the low and we come back for this double bottom that I'm expecting and we're trying to retrace back to this all-time high, minimum for me, we'd be looking at a 24-cent VRA, which is, from current price, a 61x. Now, this thing can move really impulsively. So the 1618 target is also a potential here. And that sits at 86 cents and is a 22,000% move away. Well, I'd like to be realistic here. I think 1272 is probably where we may see VRA top out, but nonetheless, this is my next target for VRA, the next bull cycle target. It might take a couple of years to get there, but I think eventually we will get to 24 cents, bearing in mind that this low has to hold. If this is the low, retracing to this high, the 1272 is my target for VRA this cycle. I hope you enjoyed the content, guys, from Chart Nerd TA. Take care. Peace out.